It's a beautiful Saturday and it's good to be back on set again to discuss nothing but the best in terms of football. And I'm your host Amos, aka Amory, and I'm not alone today. I'm joined by the person who has been hosting the show, but today is my co-host, who is Uncle Rapson. Uncle Rapson, welcome to the show.
Good morning, our dear viewers, and welcome back, Amos. We missed you, and it's always good to have you around. And to our dear viewers who are joining us, I think it's been a wonderful, wonderful week, and we are glad that you're able to join us this morning. We give glory and honor to the Almighty God for the life that we're enjoying. And to our colleague, Augustine, who's unwell, wishing you a very, very quick recovery, Augustine. We know that the healing hand of God is upon your life, and we wish you all the best and the quickest recovery with God's blessings upon your life.
Not forgetting one regular guest that is becoming part of the family now, who is one Julius. Julius, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Amos. It's good to be here. Always a joy to be here, Camden TV, not just another channel. We thank God for giving us the breath of life today and for giving us an opportunity to be here and talk nothing but the very best as far as football is concerned. But also, an interesting thing is that this is the first time I'm being interviewed by you. From the time I started coming, this was the first time I'm being interviewed by you. So I'm looking forward to having an interesting, because I've always interacted with you off air, off a screen, but it's good that I'm going to be interviewed by you today. Looking forward to a fruitful discussion.
It's good that at least today you'll be able to handle each other with Uncle Rapson, because mostly I see him being held back because he's the one who hosts the show. So I guess today, but like Rapson has said earlier, a quick recovery to one Augustine. Yep. Augustine, I know you're watching, get also my guy. Hopefully you'll join us. But the problem is you debated too much last week Saturday, so I'm sure that caused a bit of you not getting it. But we'll just take a very short break and we'll be right back with some exciting news in terms of where sports is concerned.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camden Channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned. We celebrate. For all you've done, Lord, we give you all the praise. Oh, we testify. We celebrate. Oh, for all you've done, Lord, we give you all the praise.
We saw the under-17 women's national team yesterday being defeated by Cameroon by 2-0, and it's something that we hope we can turn around. in the next 2 weeks from now, Angorapson.
Tough luck to our girls. It was a very, very difficult game for them. We saw them push. They tried. They did what they could. But alas, Cameroon emerged very victorious and very, very superior. And you know, and I think for me, having seen a few parts of that game, I think Cameroon were just on point throughout the game, and our girls just deserved to up their game a little bit. We could see that they were trying, they did their best, but I think the ladies from Cameroon were itching to get the 3 points away from home, and they delivered what exactly they came for. And going back to Cameroon and hoping to turn the tables, it's a very, very huge uphill battle for the girls. It's possible it can happen, but it deserves a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. And up front, I never saw any threats on, of course, apart from 1 or 2 occasions where I could see that we are pushing and trying to get a goal. But clearly, 2 weeks is good enough to prepare. And when you're in this situation, it can be also very short for you to prepare to go and score 3 away goals away in Yaoundé, Cameroon. It's a very, very difficult situation, which we have put ourselves in as Zambia with regards to women's football.
So would you put it as a 50-50 thing?
No, it can't be 50-50. That game was won away by Cameroon, and now going back home. Of course, when it comes to football, it's a game of numbers. It's 11 against 11 on the pitch. Who thought Zambia would lose that game? Nobody. So same applies to Cameroon when they host Zambia in the next 2 weeks. They'll be home. Zambia can pull a surprise and do exactly what they did to us here. So it's possible it can happen, but to say 50-50, I think you're being overambitious.
Julius, is this a result that you expected?
I didn't expect this. Almost tough luck to the girls that they had to lose on home soil. Very, very sad. Coach Kaluva Kangwa, the coach for the under-17, was so optimistic that the girls were going to collect maximum points in that game. But then very sad that the girls had to drop points. Like Mr. Rapson is saying, it's a mountain to climb now for them. If they go to Cameroon, they have to win by all costs. But obviously, looking at the way Cameroon played, they had a better game yesterday, and I don't see our girls almost going to win in Cameroon. It would have been better if they won at home, but then them just conceding at home, especially that they conceded 2 goals, and like Robson said, it's about numbers in the game of football. So really, Coach Kaluva Kangwa has to obviously work extra hard to see how best they're going to hit back when they fly to Cameroon and be able to face the young lioness of Cameroon.
How would you motivate the girls and Angorapson if you are the one handling the team? Because what they need right now is a lot of motivation as they go in the second leg.
And usually, you see, this is where we lose our focus when it comes to raising the morale of a team that has been defeated by 2-0. The first thing that comes is you want to express yourself emotionally. So by doing so, you are causing more damage to the girls. What should happen now is, if we are very, very organized in the game of football that we enjoy, what I expect now is to have serious psychologists. You know, those motivational speakers mixed with psychology, those are the ones that you need at the moment to just motivate the girls to say that setback that you had, it's a very, very minor setback. And you know, you have to change the mindset of the players starting from this morning. They have to start thinking positively about the return fixture. It's not going to be an easy game. We lost at home. So to start preparing them on a positive side of things is the way to go, because 2 weeks is short. Because already even their own personal morale is down. By the time they are recovering, if they are very dedicated to football, 3 days is going to go. They are just thinking and reminiscing on the game that they lost by 2-0. By the time they are getting into that mode of the training mode, trying to see how they will counter the 2-0 away from home, another one who could have passed. By the time we are getting into the second week, a trip is on. They have to be in Cameroon 3-4 days before kickoff. So you find that the training time, the time that you need their mindsets to change, has to start now. And for me, that's the biggest thing. To all of us who watch football, let's encourage the girls. Let's encourage the girls, motivate them, give them that understanding that the whole country is behind them. When they don those colors, when they go away into Cameroon, they should be able to put in 120% shift.
Amos, a positive message is important, like Mr. Bradson is saying. And yesterday, in the dressing room after the game, the Football Association of Zambia President Andrew Kamanga was addressing the girls, and he actually gave them hope. Girls, we can do this. This is just the first game we've lost, and we can still pick it up. We can put our broken pieces together and still go and collect maximum points, or go and win when we go to Cameroon. And I think that's exactly what the girls need. We don't have to condemn them. You know, in Zambia we have a tendency of, for lack of a better term, being negative, especially on the fast page. You see where you find now some guys would start, you know, hitting the girls back, which is very unfair. Those are young girls, and what they need for now is to encourage them, and the coach should be optimistic that we're going to make it, and anything is possible in football. We can turn around tables when we get to Cameroon. So what they need for now, the girls, is encouragement that they can do this. Girls, go fight and conquer, like one of the local clubs say, go fight and conquer. That's exactly what we show the girls when they go to Cameroon.
But then the lads have given their opinion on that, but hopefully the girls will be able to deliver once they go in Cameroon, because they say, I remember the time I was playing football, one of our coach would go, if you've been scored 2 goals in the first half, meaning you can also do it in the second half. Yeah. So hopefully this will go to the girls. But let's switch our attention and corruption to the Absa Cup, which today all roads were supposed to lead to the Hero Stadium, but unfortunately all roads were cancelled. Reason being, I don't know. But let's look at how this affects the teams that were geared to play the final of the Absa Cup today.
Well, on a different note, for me, I think it's a very, very positive step in the right direction. When you look at the postponement of the Absa game from today, the 16th, to the 28th of April, I think for me, it's two things at play there. Look at how all the teams that are involved in the final, the pressure they have down in their own leagues. Here is Napsa Stars. Napsa Stars has to confirm their participation, their qualification in the Zambian Super League, and the games are coming fast and furious.
Yeah.
When you look at Red Arrows, they are also not very, very safe where they are, because they are focusing on 2 things: the Absa finals as well as the Zambian Super League. Of course, they have an upper hand. They've been doing very fine, but I think these 2 weekends, the breather they have, they will have settled their issues with regards to their promotion as Napsa Stars. And for Red Arrows, 2 weekends is good enough for them to confirm their championship. So they'll be getting into that game at Hero Stadium on the 28th with total complete focus on the second trophy. If it's Red Arrows, the second trophy of the season. For Napsa Stars, they'll be laying their hands on a trophy which they are a surprise package in the finals. And interesting enough, I think the adjustment on the dates also has to do with the motivation that the head of state is going to be the guest of honor on the 28th. So it's going to be very nice. And remember, 28th is a very, very good day for us. It's a public holiday where we honor the first Republican president of the Republic of Zambia. May he so rest in peace, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. That is a very, very special date in the history of Zambia, and one of the 2 big teams will make history on that day by joining the winners of the Absa Cup.
You still agree with Uncle Robson? This changing of the date was just okay?
Well, they haven't given us any official announcement as to why they decided to move the date for the final from the 16th, actually, Mr. Rapson, to the 30th of
28th is the Thursday,
of April.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we haven't gotten any official confirmation from the Football Association of Zambia or from ABSA, the main sponsors. But then, if we're going to talk about preparation, Amos, for me, I think the 2 teams were already prepared. They knew that they've qualified to the final, so obviously they were getting ready for the finals, and they were ready to battle it out. But then, obviously, for the association and the bank moving the final to the 30th. Obviously, it's just a bonus to give the 2 teams more time to prepare adequately. And I'm sure that the 2 coaches, Chisimbewe and Coach Perry Mutapa, are so happy because now the boys are being given more time to be prepared to come and face each other in that final. Remember that this final that they're playing is a local derby. Both teams play in Lusaka, and obviously they don't know each other. They do play together, so obviously they know each other very well. And then also, Red Arrows are looking forward to do a double this season. They want to win. They want to be crowned champions of the ABSA Amos, and then they also want to be crowned champions of the MTN Super League. So really, for me, the postponement obviously is not going to have any effect on both teams, because I'm sure that they've prepared very well for the final, and all they're looking forward to is the final day to come and them battling it out, and then seeing who's going to be crowned champion on that particular day. But once again, obviously, wishing the teams all the best, and may the best team win. I don't want to decide which team is going to win on that particular day, because I might be manhandled on the show.
A prediction can be done.
I think maybe we can do the prediction next week Saturday, because obviously the game will be played in the afternoon and we'll be here in the morning to talk about it. But obviously, yeah, we can do an early prediction today. But for me, if you're going to ask me which team is going to win on that day, obviously I'm going for Red Arrows automatically. And I know my brother Augustine at home is very happy, because I'm supporting it.
You know, in everything you do, you need to have opposition. So here we are the two of us with the...
So you are an opposition, didn't you?
I have to be shown. So I think for me, the biggest surprise package, these two clubs, Red Arrows and ABSA Stars, is going to be an interesting game. And I think Red Arrows have the depth in their squad. They're able to alternate players without risk. They're able to grind results with different players, and I think they are much more organized and more focused than ABSA Stars. ABSA Stars, we've seen their inconsistencies in the league, but a cup final is a different ball game, and there could be a surprise package because I've seen Odhiambo is back in training. Austin is back as well, so it's going to be a very, very full squad. Hoping that in the next 1 or 2 weekends, no injuries will be recorded, so that we're able to watch the finals the way it should be watched. So interesting fixtures it will be, and I think for me, I have a soft spot for ABSA Stars. I'm unable to give you the prediction.
Amos, by the way, the game on Saturday, it's Coach Perry Mutepa facing his elder brother, also at Mutepa, who's the technical director for Red Arrows. So it's every time they're at a stadium and Red Arrows is playing, they always sit together in the stands as brothers. But this time around, obviously, it's going to be a different yeah, altogether. Perry is going to be on the touchline. Also at Mutepa, obviously, will be somewhere in the VIP, and hoping that his team is going to collect maximum points on that to win on that day. And obviously, it's about the money that's going to go in their pockets. So obviously, also at Mutepa, will be looking forward to win, and then so it will be interesting to see the two brothers facing it, coming against each other on that particular day.
We'll just go on a very short break as we come back and discuss more in terms of what's kicking and happening in the Eden League. For Musa has already secured their place in the MTN Super League, but for now we'll just take a very short break. You know, it's funny how people tend not to pay attention to how interesting the Eden League this season is. But looking at FC Musa, they've already booked their spot or their place in the MTN Super League, and we saw their president Keith Mwemba, where he was being interviewed to say, and there was this question where someone had to ask to say, is it true that you buy home games? And the funny part is most of their home games were draws, and they were winning away games.
No. Check your facts again. They humbled Napsa Stars in Mazabuka.
Yes, but when you look at the percentage,
a couple of them are wins in Mazabuka. A couple of them are wins in Mazabuka. And I think the person who asked the question had every reason, because a couple of teams that have visited them in Mazabuka, they come back with complaints.
they've dropped.
Of course, we can't completely say that happens. It was just in the news that we have to talk about. No facts have been put on the table.
Yeah.
But those stories come from clubs that visit that Nakambala Stadium, or is it Mazabuka Stadium, whatever it is called. Whoever visits that, they always talk about how the referee was doing what he does best in Mazabuka. So, for me, really, I think on the other hand, again, I think this is the time that I think I stand for referees. Sometimes, like in Bemba, I don't know whether somebody can interpret. Every team that wins, for example, in Mazabuka, do you ever hear them talking about the referee when they win?
No.
Why is it that every loser who goes to Mazabuka is always complaining? Because they have lost. So for me, that gives me a benefit of doubt, because for that saying, for those of you who can't understand English, it's like there's always a reason that has been given by anybody who loses something or doesn't achieve something. They always give a reason. They always have a reason.
Or can you safely say a failure is always giving reasons for failing?
Yes, I think that's like a Bemba adage I used.
Oh, yeah.
It's something like that, yeah.
I'm a Bemba, so I can guide you.
Oh, good.
So don't lie to the masses out there. Ask me to guide.
So that's that. So for me, really, I think we need to also protect the referees. They've been attacked a couple of times this season, but I think Musa has done it. They have qualified. Whether they do that or they don't, the question is, if they do and they do it the way they are doing it, why are you complaining? If you can, do it also if it's possible. But I know these referees, we have men and women who are very upright. They are corrupt free. So even if you accuse them of selling games, I think I stand with the referees. They are very, very good men and women out there who are able to hold the game of football in very, very high esteem and avoid such things. So for me, teams that visit that place should just be winning games on their own. It's that simple.
This shows Angorapso, maybe just a quick one in terms of the top scorers chart. In the Eden, there's Christian Saile, from Changa Rangers with 15 goals. We've had Pedro Miguel is still at second.
You are going to read about Friday Sam also. The man who left Zambia many months ago, but he's still top scorer.
We've got Pedro Miguel, who is now with Zesco United with 14 goals. And we have Andrew Piri from Musa with 12, Emmanuel Kalala from City of Lusaka with 11, and Josephat Kasusu from Rumwana with 10, and Clive Bieta, Kitwe United with 10. How that? Because when you compare these states, Angorapso, with the ones that are there in the Premier League, I think the MTN Super League, they're a bit similar. It's that we don't have goal poachers in all our leagues in the country.
You know, you can take it from different angles. The first angle is probably competition has become too stiff. The teams are doing so well. Their defenses are good. The strikers are unable to find the back of the net consistently. And on the other hand, you can as well say, the same way the Zambia national soccer team is failing to win games, blind strikers are unable to score. They can't find the back of the net game in, game out. This is a situation where we find ourselves in. This is week 31, week 32, somewhere there. And you have somebody who has only scored 15 goals in 32 games. That's very, very unacceptable if you ask me. But I think congratulations to Saidi, the Nchanga Rangers man, and I can only wish Nchanga Rangers all the best in this weekend's fixtures as they travel to Lusaka to face nothing but City Moto Yo Beba tomorrow Sunday. It will be an interesting game, and hopefully Saidi can add to his goal tally there and get to 16 goals tomorrow.
Basop was going to say no.
Well, City of Lusaka are probably playing their friendly game, and they have nothing to fight for at this point, because I think the race for that fourth spot is still probably it won't be decided. It will swing towards where it will be after tomorrow's games, when you see how the two teams from the Copper Belt in Nchanga Rangers and Mighty Mufulira Wanderers will be faring it out tomorrow at Woodland Stadium. Because the first game, we'll see Nchanga Rangers. I mean, we'll see Changa Rangers playing Young Green Buffaloes at 13 hours. So depending on that result, it will put pressure on the second game, and they're using the same pitch, and very interesting fixtures if you ask me tomorrow Sunday. And the second game will see City of Lusaka hosting nothing but the Lunsonga boys, Mighty Mvurira Wanderers at Woodland Stadium, and that will be an interesting game as well, because both teams, Changa Rangers and Mvurira Wanderers, are separated by 1 point. So very, very interesting 10 of events tomorrow. And thanks to the game organizers that those two games will be in one stadium. So there will be no soccer fans that will be divided. Others will finding themselves going to the other side or to the other stadium for the game. Will all be in one place to witness who gets closer to the qualification of the Zambian Super League season this coming season.
Julius.
Amos, I would want to pick one positive thing from Muza FC, who've qualified to the MTN Super League. Congratulations to them, Kip Wemba, and the rest of the executive committee of Muza, and also Masao Satembo. One thing I want to say is I think to appreciate Masao Satembo. Remember that when the 2021-2022 season just started, the MTN Super League, he was with Power Dynamos. He wasn't doing well. I think there were pathetic results recorded, for lack of a better term, to say the least. We saw him being fired. For me, I actually thought, man, where next is he going to go now? Muza FC picked him. He became head coach for Muza FC. Now look at where
when you say picked him, you mean he was chosen or he was picked? Which picking?
He was appointed as a coach. You know, I have a soft spot for him. He was appointed as a coach, Amos. And look at what he has done for Muza FC. You know, coming in from lack of a better term, from being a failure at Power Dynamos and now being a successful man at Muza FC with about 3 games to go. They've already graduated from the Eden University to the MTN Super League, and I think that's a very good move. Kudos and a huge congratulations to Coach Masao Satembo. It would be good to see him back in the Super League. Remember that the last time he was in the Super League, he was with Forest Rangers as an assistant coach, you know, where he was assistant to Perry Mutapa. They moved to Power Dynamos together. He remained as the acting head coach there. So it would be good to see him now as a head coach at Muza FC. And obviously, Perry Mutapa is also bouncing back to the MTN Super League. I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic that they're bouncing back, because they only need about 4 points. And in the remaining fixtures, about 3 games to go, I don't see them dropping points. Obviously, what they need from the possible 9 points, what they need is this 4 points to be confirmed, and that they are coming back to the MTN Super League, of which for them they haven't really missed much. It's just a 1-year absence. You know, they were relegated last season, and now next season they'll be back. So I think it would be, I don't know, Mr. Rapton, can you guide me? Would it be safe to tell Coach Perry congratulations already? Or maybe we wait for them to get to 4 points? Or maybe it's safe to say congratulations now?
Well, when you look at...
It's a game of 90 minutes.
When you look at the...
I don't want you to explain in further. Just tell me, is it safe to say congratulations or not?
I think it is.
Congratulations to Coach Perry Mutapa, one of the best tacticians we have in the land, bouncing back to the MTN Super League, and also congratulations to Masao Satembo also for bouncing back, and congratulations also to Coach Buton Musonda. Yes, it would be good to see Kasusu back. You remember Kasusu was with Tabo Warriors, he was with Red Arrows.
He's been tormenting defenders.
Today he's one of the top scorers. I think he's got 10 goals.
He's got 10 goals, yeah.
Exactly. So he's one type of a striker who's got the pace. He can push, you know, and fight for the ball in that 18-yard box. So really, it would be good to see Josephat Kasusu back, and also so congratulations to the 3 teams that have already.
2 teams.
To the 3, Napsa Stars.
No, Napsa Stars is neither here nor there.
But I think but you just told me to congratulate.
You can't confirm that they are done.
Okay, so to
the work they have put in is good enough, because that 4 points is regardless of what Nchanga Rangers does, regardless of what Mvurira Wanderers does. Yeah. That 4 points can actually be reduced to probably even 1.
That's if Napsa do not collect maximum points in the remaining.
If Rangers.
Okay.
Rangers, if Nchanga Rangers and Mvurira Wanderers, they don't grind results in all their games.
But what happens if they collect
this is where
points, and then Napsa Stars drops points, like they lose all the 3 games?
Nchanga Rangers, they can be kicked out. It's possible. They can be.
So it's not safe to talk of Coach Perry. No. Coach, we retract our statement. I think we'll confirm next week.
Well, I think for me the critical thing that we need to look at now is, let's focus on the 2 teams that are fighting for the 4th spot in the Eden National League.
Yeah.
Mfuria Wanderers has 3 games. 3 games left. And if I'm not mistaken, they have City of Lusaka, they have Kitwe United, and they have Zesco Malaiti.
Yeah.
When you look at what Zesco Malaiti has been doing to teams of late, they have not lost a game in 9 outings. They've been wiring. And one of the victims is Nchanga Rangers. They lost, was it 2 Wednesdays ago?
Yeah.
They lost by 2-0 by Zesco Malaiti. And that's one team that is standing in the way of Mufulira Wanderers. City of Lusaka is also an obstacle there. Kitwe United is not an easy goer. They have those 3 big teams. Let's look at the games that Nchanga Rangers is also focusing on.
Young Green Buffaloes.
They have Young Green Buffaloes. They have Muza.
The FC Muza.
They have Muza. Muza, because they have already confirmed qualification, this game is a game that we need to watch with regards to that area statement that happens in Mazabuka. You remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
This game, Muza has nothing to lose in that game.
But let's look at the other team and corruption. We've seen certain teams, they've already booked their spot or they've already qualified, but they just want to get full maximum points.
Well, the reasons are very different. This game, you know why I'm saying it's a very, very tricky encounter, and it could go either way because Muza has already qualified. So the rest of the games that they have are probably friendly games. This is the time for Coach Tembo to actually use players those who've not had enough game time in the season to prepare them for the coming season, to say even during our qualifications we participated in certain fixtures in games, critical games. So for the coach, he might decide to rest those critical players that have been playing games week in, week out. He would decide to use players like Julius, who've been on the bench for the last 10 games. They just play 5 minutes. So these are some of the games towards the end.
Prove your worth.
Yes, prove your worth in our team. Are we able to carry you with us in the Premier League?
But Mr. Robson, do you really think...
And Nchanga Rangers on the other side, they also need to hope that Muza goes that direction, to use players who've not had game time, players whose confidence levels are medium. Then they'll pounce on them and confirm their qualification. But that's a very, very big obstacle for Nchanga Rangers to say.
Mr. Robson, do you really think that it's right for Coach Robert Tembo to use a player that have not been used in a long time? I mean, Coach Robert Tembo, coach for Nchanga Rangers.
Oh, no. I mean
FC Muza.
FC Muza, because they have nothing to lose.
I was about to like... No. I was wondering, like, how does Coach Robert Tembo use the players? It's critical games we're talking about. Okay.
It's Masa also, who's got nothing to lose, so he's able to rest those players who've been playing games, winning games for Muza week in, week out. So he would want to try those ones who've not had game time to see whether they are worth being in the team for the Zambian Super League next season.
But looking at the two teams, Mr. Robson, for me, I feel Amos, looking at the 3 games and the fixtures that Mr. Robson has just given us, the fixtures do favor Mufulira Wanderers.
Yes.
They favor, compared to Nchanga Rangers. The Nchanga Rangers really have to fight hard if they really have to collect maximum points. Because obviously Muza, it's up to them whether they want to fully give a game to Nchanga Rangers or they want to show that even though we've already graduated, but we're still playing good football and we want to collect maximum points. Or maybe they'll show, brotherly love, like Mr. Robson has said, and be able to say, you know what, Robert Tembo, I think Twami Pela game is Ndeni, so that should give a tough time to Mighty Mufulira Wanderers. But looking at the fixtures and the games that they have, the 3 games remaining, fixtures do favor Mighty Mufulira Wanderers. But obviously it's possible, and Nchanga Rangers, anything is possible in football, like we always say, it's possible that Nchanga Rangers can collect points in the 3 games that are remaining, 9 points, and obviously they'll be through to be promoted to the MTN Super League, especially that the top scorer in the Eden National League is coming from their team. So, but on a sad note, this one is a must, Amos, I can assure you, that if Nchanga Rangers
fail to
or they move to the Super League, that Christina guy won't be with them. I don't see him being at Nchanga.
But let's hope he'll perform like Miguel is doing. Miguel,
Saidi has been very consistent.
It depends with the team he's going to join. Anyway, if he joins a team like Zanaco, maybe he may perform. But if he joins a team like Zesco, where you have a lot of stars trying to shine, it's going to be a little bit tricky for him to shine.
And as we switch our attention, so you've given the sport to say Mighty Mufulira Wanderers have got slightly
Looking at their
The
fixtures.
fixtures are much more.
They are
manageable.
favouring them. Yeah.
You know, we hope to see an interesting encounter there with the 3 games remaining. Maybe I just give them out as Angorapson gave them earlier. We've got Ntanga Rangers who is remaining with 3 games, and these 3 games, it's Young Green Buffaloes that's away. And we've got FC Moza will be home and Kaisa away. And we've got Maite Mufulira Wanderers in Echungulo. We've got facing City of Lusaka away and Quito United home, and Zesco Malaiti at away as well. And hopefully these fixtures are something that. But what would you want to see both teams in the
Unfortunately, there's only one slot.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there's only one slot, and only one team can make it.
Amos and Mr. Robson, I've noticed something about this Kaisa team. From the time that the proprietor of the team, Mr. Mtangama, died, their performance has really been going down. Maybe is it because there's been change of management? The wife has now taken over with the children?
Well, it's
Maybe
not
they don't
change,
really
it's
have,
not change. It's the level of passion which is different probably, and I think even where we expected Kaisa to be and where they are now, I mean, they saw the proprietor, the former proprietor, rest in peace, but I think he had a very, very huge vision for that team. We saw how Kaisa was playing soccer, and to find themselves in that situation now where they are just playing year in, year out in mid-table, very unacceptable, if you ask me. Very, very unacceptable. We are only hoping that they'll bounce back. To the lady who's managing Kaisa, I think job well done. It's not easy for a lady, and you've been doing a fantastic job, and we only wish Kaisa all the best. Yeah. In the next season, as you fight back to try and get back to the Zambian Super League, where that team should purportedly be by now.
They've been replaced by Kafue Celtic.
Kafue Celtic is, we are replacing that. Kafue Celtic is joining Kongola Blades. Those ones are going down, those ones.
Let's look at the MTN Super League Angorapson. We've got some interesting games today as well. We've got Saturday today, the 16th, we've got Nkwazi who is hosting Chambishi, and it's a double header at Ngoloma Stadium, and at 15. We've got Lusaka Dynamos versus Indeni. But I would want to talk about Lusaka Dynamos and Angorapson. Last time, you always say they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, of course, and they are playing free-flowing football. Very interesting. Free-flowing football, and they've been grinding results. The last result which they hammered, I think, they were playing some team from Kawe. I don't know what that.
Let bygones be bygones, Amos. What is your focus? The question is, let's talk about the game today. We're not talking about the team that they hammered 2 weeks ago.
Okay, Julius, you are forgiven. Let's focus on the Nkwazi versus Chambishi game. The game is kicking off at 1 p.m. It's an early kickoff. And I think where, if you look at where Nkwazi is sitting, Nkwazi is not safe. If you see what Chambishi has been doing of late, let's be very honest. Chambishi has been grinding serious results in the fight to get out of that relegation zone, to get out of that danger zone where they are sitting. So if Chambishi is able to grind the result today against Nkwazi, you will see that the last 3-4 games will be very, very interesting at the bottom, because Nkwazi is not safe. We saw them bringing in Coach TC as technical director, which I think for me I have not seen anything positive out of it. If you ask me, he's been there. They are probably becoming worse and worse from the time he joined. So I'm really feeling very, very sorry for Makinka and his lads. They play fantastic football. They don't deserve to go in the Eden. They don't deserve to be relegated. But I'm only hoping that from the setbacks that they've been having of late, I think they should be able to grind the result. But don't also take away the fact that Chambishi has beaten Ghana Football Club home and away this season, has beaten Power Dynamos. They are just there to just make a mark and get out of that zone and become safe. So it's going to be an interesting fixture at 13 hours in the early kickoff.
Julius, let's look at from the beginning of the season. We saw how Nkwazi was playing.
I was just about to come to
They
that.
occupied the second position for 5 weeks.
Look at the high-flying men, Amos, like you said. This is a team that was doing very well in the first quarter of the season, extremely well. I was actually even appreciating Coach Dennis Makinka. I'm like, wow, if you're going to finish like this at the end of the season, man, kudos to you, because you've done extremely good job on this team. But now we are into the second quarter of the season. They've been performing badly. They keep losing games. I think this should be their 16th loss of a season in terms of their games, you know. But very, very, I think, shameful result, if I can say that. Like Mr. Rapson, I say they bring in veteran Tennant Chilumba, who comes in. For me, I haven't seen any positive impact. I don't really understand the reason why. Sorry, we're not hating on Nkwazi, but I don't understand the reason why they have brought in Tennant Chilumba. Maybe they want to get rid of Dennis Makinka, but they're one of the EXCO members. When they were introducing Coach Tennant Chilumba to the team, and when he was speaking to the media, he actually said, we are not firing anyone, but we're just beefing up the technical bench. But look at what the beefing up of the technical bench has done to them. It has just it keeps taking them down and down and down. And if they're not very careful, like Mr. Rapson was saying, Chambeshi is coming up, and they might just be relegated. They went to Kabwe, they lost against Kabwe Warriors, they lost against Red Arrows after leading. So really, it's a sad story for Coach Dennis Makinka. And Dennis Makinka, if today he doesn't collect maximum points in that game, obviously he's going to be fired. You come and tell me. You come and tell me he's going to be fired.
He's going to go on indefinitely.
Yeah, you come and
see. It's becoming hot and hot.
And obviously because Tennant Chilumba has come, so obviously he's going to take over and be the interim coach. But Mr. Rapson, look at where Tennant Chilumba is coming from. Kansashi Dynamos, he was fired. Look, Boyd Mulwanda goes to Kansashi Dynamos, is doing very well there. Now he comes to Nkwazi. I don't know
what characteristics did the appointing authorities use to pick a man who recently was a failure at a project in Kansashi?
That is what we should question, because we are wondering also, I mean, what criteria was used to pick.
So we're looking at
and clearly the same syndrome that he left at Kansashi is the same syndrome that has shifted to Edwin Imboyela Stadium. And okay, we can only wish you all the best, and in this afternoon's game.
And if they don't get rid of him, trust me, the syndrome will just will be on them.
So we're looking at two sides that are just separated by a point.
Yes, and they are very close to the red zone. Whoever drops points today has a very huge chance of playing for survival. Yeah. Even today's game is a surviving game, but it has to be taken in a different way. One of the guys was joking with me to say, we remember at some point when the Nyanta boys were number 1, followed by Nkwazi number 2, and they even started filling in passport application forms to start preparing for continental games. But here they are now, all their applications were suspended. But let's look at the display that has been our tape. Oh wait! Have you seen where Nkwazi is? Have you seen where Nkwazi is?
So there's just a separation of a point.
Chambishi, the last game they won, their last 2 games have actually moved them. Have you seen how safe they are?
No, but if Nkwazi wins the game today, they'll swap, meaning they swap Chambishi.
But look at the form. Who's in a better place to grind the result there? It's probably Chambishi Football Club.
I think what Nkwazi should push for now in the 3 games that are remaining is in the 4 games is to just survive relegation. I think for now is what they should.
That's the biggest focus.
Yeah. So if they win today against Chambeshi, obviously they move to 36, which is in 13th position. They might not be safe because Kafio Celtic also is trying to jump out of a relegation. So really the battle is tight at the bottom of the table. The battle is really...
But between the two, I think Chambishi has got an upper hand. Their form speaks volumes for them.
for me, Mr. Robson, I don't think so. Chambeshi, yes, when you're playing at their home ground, their school ground, yes, you can have a bit of a challenge beating them. But when they're playing out of their hometown...
Where did they beat Power Dynamos from?
Obviously, Power Dynamos is
I'm just asking.
Power Dynamos is also struggling.
Didn't they beat Nkana in Kitwe?
Well, they actually did the double.
Won't they beat Nkwazi this afternoon? That's a question.
For me, I have a soft spot. I have a soft spot for Dennis Makinka, and I feel Dennis Makinka is going to collect maximum points in that game today. Mr. Rapson should come and shoot me on the show next week. But for me, I feel they're going to collect maximum points.
No. If you ask me, even me, really, I have a soft spot for Nkwazi. I would like them to remain in the Super League. They're well sponsored. Yeah. They are a threat to a lot of clubs. They are consistent. Look at Nkwazi. The last time they were relegated many years back, they've just been there. We need such teams there. All these teams that are in that red zone are teams that come and go. You have us in there. They come and go. And Concora Blades is one of them that has come and they are going back. And Kafue Celtic is also one of those. They are coming and going back. So it's something that is known really that. So for me there, I think Chambishi and Prison Leopards are the ones at risk when you see that. In fact, starting from it's tight, starting from Prison Leopards, of course, Forest Rangers will survive because of the gap. They'll try to grind one result and they'll be home safe. Prison Leopards, Chambishi, I think they win Prison Leopards, which they did at Kana Stadium last weekend. They should have been on 33 points if you check. They were going to be in the red zone also. Yeah. So one win in Kitwe for Prison Leopards put them in that position. And interesting games this afternoon it is. And to those of you fans who will be at Nkoroma Stadium, you will be witnessing a very, very scintillating encounter at 13 hours this afternoon.
Let's look at other games and Rapson for today. We've got Green Eagles who is hosting Kongola Blades, and we've got Kafue Celtic versus Red Arrows, and we've got Prison Leopards versus Green Buffaloes. But let's look at the Kafue Celtic versus Red Arrows game just on a quick one, Ango Rapson and Julius. We are talking of the Kafue Celtic who is fighting for survival, and we are looking at the Red Arrows who wants to get the league.
The businessmen, Kafue Celtic, they should be very disappointed with themselves. I've watched a couple of games this season where they are playing, and when it comes to ball movement, fantastic team. They've just been consistently very, 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 very unlucky. Consistently unlucky. Yeah. But when you watch them play football, Amos, they don't deserve to go to Eden because the type of football is very, very entertaining. But I think experience is what has been lacking in that team. They use young lads, young ambitious lads who go on the field of play. They play soccer, they enjoy. And the likes of Albert Kangwanda going back to Eden, very, very unfortunate. And I was actually thinking, if they survive this season, they would probably go back, Alassana Diarra, back to Kafue Celtic, because that's their player. He came from Kafue Celtic and is just on loan, by the way, at Red Arrows. That's and
producing some goals.
And producing some very good goals. So probably I was thinking, because of their survival, if they could manage to survive, they would probably recall their players so that they strengthen the squad. They need that experience. And that experience is going to work against them. And I'm hoping that in their close, they really did a good job of saying Alassana should not play against them. That will give them a bit of hope to survive relegation in that battle. But I don't see Chisimbewe's lads dropping points, whether Alassana Diarra is there or not. That team has depth and they have machinery that is able to take on any team at any time of the day. And Kafue Celtic might just be condemned back to Eden this afternoon when you look at the form of Red Arrows.
To tomorrow, Julius, we've got Power Dynamos who is hosting Zesco United, and it's a Zesco United that still has hopes, or still have hopes to say they can scoop Red Arrows. They want to scoop Red Arrows. But let's look at this game. Is this a game where Zesco United will drop points?
I think, allow me to borrow Mr. Robson's team, inconsistent Zesco United indeed. If you were to ask me which is the best team we have in Zambia at the moment, Zesco United. They have an experienced coach, Coach Numba Mumamba. He was with Zanaco, goes to Zesco. He hasn't really been consistent, for lack of a better term. Looking also at Power Dynamos, they have Monyachi Pepo who joined them from Indeni FC. They're coming in from a win. They won against Indeni, 5-0, something that I didn't really expect. It's like a repeat of how Green Buffaloes in the first quarter of the season beat
yes, you are a problem.
Indeni. At that time, I remember when the boys were Nyantali, you know. But quickly talking about that game, Amos, I have a soft spot for Power Dynamos. I have a soft spot for Monyachi Pepo, and I would love to see them collect maximum points in that game. I want to see it. For me, I would rather go for Green Eagles to finish in the top 2. and not just
and it will happen this weekend.
Yeah, I'd rather see Green Eagles finish in the top 2.
The form of Power Dynamos speaks volumes. Coming back from a 5-0 thrashing of Indeni, and you get into a game against an inconsistent team in Zesco United, you probably think the dressing room is more positive with regards to focus when it comes to that game. I think Power Dynamos will have an edge in that game, and Green Eagles at Independence Stadium, you can't survive there. The only team that manages to survive there, you probably get a draw and come back smiling. It's a very, very good result for you. But I think when you look at what they are fighting for now and where they are on the log, I think they should be able to grind that positive result. I don't see a draw there. I see Green Eagles collecting maximum points and getting very close to claiming that second slot.
Amos, with the drama that's happening at Concola Blades, I don't see them collecting maximum points like Grabson is saying. Is it last weekend they just fired their 2 assistant coaches, and then they bring in 2 new assistant coaches. So there are 2 new assistant coaches that have come in to join Coach Charles Wale, and then they're traveling to Choma to face.
By the way, Julius, you know that it's very interesting. It's a very, very rare moment where the head coach survives. You fire the assistants.
That was my question.
Very rare.
Why did they get rid of the
very rare moments? And but anyway, to the administrators at Concola Blades.
But according to sources from Chilila Bombo, is that apparently they had just imposed the 2 assistant coaches on the head coach Charles. So now that they were not working together, they were not able to relate together with the head coach, so they decided to get rid of the 2 assistant coaches and then now bring in the assistant coaches that the head coach wanted. And I think that's a better way of doing things. Obviously, if you are a coach, Mr. Robson, you would want to come with your own assistant.
In fact, this rule should actually change. I have seen clubs, European clubs, and most even African clubs, where when a coach is appointed, the coach is given leeway to bring in his own assistants, provided the results are defined. The results that you need are defined. You give him the freedom to pick his own. Then you say, you are now accountable for the team because these guys that you've picked around you, your backroom staff, are all yours. So where you pick the coach, and probably you and I don't even relate, somebody in administration decides to bring Julius as my assistant, and Julius and myself have not been friends. How will we become friends on the field of play and training? Possible. Julius is going to form his own cartel of players who will be respecting him. I also have my own, those who are loyal to my instructions. So when it comes to training, Julius has got his own camp, I have my own camp. Making a team, I make a team. Probably Julius will even saying, guys, we need to fail this coach has to go. That is the confusion that happens when you don't allow the coach to pick.
I was about to say that, where if you're playing in the dressing room, you have 2 instructions coming in from 2 different people. Where the head coach says, guys, let's go in and win, we use this system and whatnot, and then now the assistant coach comes and says, Amos, if you're actually under coach, make sure we punch Shefe, so that he should. It's possible to do that.
Yeah, and the issue of head coaches being given indefinite leave, and then the assistants take over. But anyway, away from that, there are other games that are being played. That's Beautycon versus Kansanshi Dynamos, Forest Rangers versus Ngana, and Zanaco versus Kawe Warriors. But let's look at the Forest Rangers versus Ngana game. Ngana squad that is coming from. I will let you.
A heavy defeat.
Amos, it would be good to quickly talk about the Beautycon Kansanshi Dynamos game because Boyd Mulwanda is coming back to where he was. You remember he was coach for Beautycon just before he joined Kansanshi Dynamos, and he's just recorded his first loss from the time that he joined Kansanshi Dynamos. That's against Forest Rangers. So really, I'm sure he's hungry, and obviously he wants to show his former employer that, man, I can do this. So obviously he's a favorite in this game, and I'm sure that he's going to collect maximum points in that game. And I have a soft spot for Boyd Mulwanda. He's a good tactician, and it's possible that he's going to collect maximum points in that game. But then quickly also talking about Nkana Football Club, we've been warned on the show, Amos, that we should not be calling them the Red Devils. So Nkana Football Club, they were embarrassed at their own home ground, at home by Prison Leopards. Conrad Luchanga is back, the golden boy. He's been doing very well for the correct boys. He did the Nkana defense bad last week, and it's sad that Coach Beston Chambage had to drop points at home, but then congratulations to Coach Albert Kachingwe in that game for collecting maximum points. But Nkana this time around, well, I don't want to say they can collect maximum points, but then we made the best team win in that game. But quickly talking about the Warriors Zanaco game, look at how Zanaco has been scoring in the past 2 games. They played Red Arrows at Sansa Stadium How did they score? It was through a mistake. Charles Kalumba made a mistake. They scored. How they faced Kafue Celtic in the midweek fixture to Imboila Stadium. How did they score? It was through a mistake. The goalkeeper made a mistake. So look at their 2 games. How have they been scoring through mistakes? That just shows you that this is a team that is not hungry for the goal. They do not want to score goals because they're only scoring through mistakes. So for me, Warriors has to capitalize on their mistakes.
Part of the game.
They are part of the game, but not concurrently.
Let's look at the footwork of the goalkeeper who messed up, and that goal was capitalized by Moses Piri. Moses Piri's anger to want to attack, that's what made the goalkeeper falter. The goalkeeper faltered, gave away the ball, and Moses Piri just slotted it in the back of the net. So for me, when you say they are not hungry, that's being hungry, because that ball was 100% in possession of the goalkeeper. 100%. He was in total control. After he was being harassed by a striker who took advantage of the situation, the goalkeeper messed up on his footwork and he gave away the ball, and the ball went in the back of the net. So for me, really, that opinion, Julius, you are on your own.
Yeah, of course I'm on my own. And quickly, Amos, Cabo Warriors have to capitalize on those mistakes and collect maximum points as they play Zanaco tomorrow. Remember that Coach Chris Kaunda, Mr. Takatiko, is facing his former employer as well as Zanaco before he moved to Lusaka Dynamos and later joined Cabo Warriors. So obviously he's coming back to Sunset Stadium. That was once his home. So all the best to the team from Cabo and hope they collect maximum points as they face.
Again, Amos, before we proceed very quickly, Cabo Warriors, Marcelo Kaunda and Dominic Janda, do you remember the mistakes they made that Edwin Imboila?
I think we said it by
so when it comes to consistencies, and now those kind of mistakes, and you are facing Moses Piri, what is going to happen? May the best team win tomorrow. Sensational Zanaco Football Club hosting Cabo Warriors at Sunset Stadium.
Due to time, gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. But a quick one, Ango Rapson, we've got it's 5 hours from now as Man City host or Man City faces Liverpool again. But this time around, it's in the FA semi-finals. Who are you giving it to? Just quick one.
Well, Man City has been very, very lethal. That team torments a lot of players, and I think when you give Man City space to play, if you give them room to play, they will deny you the ball and they will get that position. On the other hand, when you look at Liverpool's style of play, very equivalent to what Man City does, and it will be interesting because both coaches, I saw them passionately hug in that game, in the last game they played, and you could tell that these are 2 coaches who are not bitter. These are 2 coaches that are fighting on the field of play. Off the ball, very good friends, and they congratulated each other for that draw they had. And it will be interesting to see what happens this afternoon, because that was a great comeback. It was this one scores, and the game ended all square.
Julius, your final remarks as we conclude.
Thank you very much for having me, Amos. Like I said, not preamble that first time being interviewed by you. I think I've enjoyed my interaction, and always a pleasure being here interacting with my big man Rabson, but wishing our very own Augustine a quick recovery, and hoping to be with you on the show next week. Wishing my team, Cabo Warriors, all the best as they take on Zanaco tomorrow, and Arsenal the Gunners as well, hoping that we're going to get back from that tormenting
they know
that was done by Enoch for the computer. But yeah, thank you so much for having me once again, and blessed afternoon to the viewers out there.
This is where we come to the end of the show, and a quick recovery to one Augustine who is watching, and hopefully to have you next week Saturday on set, Augustine. But what about now for all those who've been following Camnet Stars? Camnet Stars had a friendly game on Thursday. They played against Young Zanaco, and it was something that was enjoyable. But today they are back.
Yeah. What was the result?
They were hammered by 2 goals to
that's what you should say.
nil. The results were 2. They went against us, which we lost by 2 goals to nil. But today the Camnet Stars under 19 are back in the league. They will be playing.
You should say league
home.
leaders.
The league leaders are
Yes,
so
yes.
hopefully all roads will lead to there as we get to drum up support for the lads. But for now, this is where we come to the end of the show. But stay glued to your TV sets as Katama. Amazing Katama is coming on your screens with a weekly gospel show. For me, Amos, aka Amore, and the rest of the entire production team. It's bye-bye.